Hey guys, and welcome back to the Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review. Today's game tip top is called The Island of El Dorado. The Island of El Dorado is for 2 to 4 players, plays about 20 minutes per player, and probably aged about 12 and up. In the game of The Island of El Dorado, you are basically back in time, and you are on the Island of El Dorado as an ancient civilization, and you guys are in search of gold. When all of a sudden you find out that there are shrines with much more than gold there. In fact, it is a magical place of mystical power and energies, and there are 4 shrines on this island. In the game, you are going to be searching as a civilization, finding these specific shrines. And if you can control all 4 shrines at once, you will be basically the most powerful and popular civilization on the island of El Dorado. That's the basic idea of the game. Let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. So here is the Island of El Dorado board game. In the game, you're going to get 4 different player cards. You're going to get resource cards of 3 different types, the basic island tile deck, as well as the cave deck over here. 3 magnificent little shrines here representing the shrines on the island, as well as there's a shrine inside the cave deck as well. You're going to get different player pieces that will involve getting villages, forts, offerings, and army movement pieces, as well as battle die, gathering, and movement die. Finally, you'll also get a rulebook of the game, which includes how to play and a bunch of various different artworks. So to begin the game, you simply will take one of the El Dorado Island tiles and flip it up and put it face down on the board and put all your characters, they're basically starting explorers, on that space. Now if it's an island or a shrine piece, you're going to take that and shuffle it back in and draw a new one until you get a basic space. After that, you're going to decide who gets to go first by giving everybody one of each of the different resource cards and all of their little tokens. When you go first to begin the game, you simply roll these 2 die, a gather die, and then you roll a movement die, or vice versa, it doesn't really matter. Then you're going to gather all the resources based on the number you roll for the gather die, and move accordingly to your number movement die. Throughout that time, you'll be able to build things, fight people, or move as far as across the area as you can. And what you're trying to do is find the shrines. Now, other people are also going to find the same shrines you're looking for, and that might result in battling, and where you're going to be rolling battle die, which will indicate the number of army units and other different things you'll have on those spaces to roll how many die you'll need to fight your opponents. If you can kill your opponent, they'll make them go back to the shrine they last allocated, or if they don't have a shrine, you can put them anywhere on the map, and they're going to have to try and find the shrines elsewhere. As soon as you can find all 4 shrines, you win the game. Let me go ahead and show you a couple turns. So we're going to go ahead and take a couple turns so you can see how the game works. Now, first of all, everybody's here. I've already gone ahead and set up everything for all the characters. They have each of their unique different pieces they're going to be needing for the beginning of the game, which are going to be like food and lumber and so on and so forth. And the first player will go ahead and be this guy here, the brown color. And he's going to simply roll the 2 die. This is going to be the collector die, and this one's going to be his movement die. Okay, so 6 movement, wow, and 4 collections. So maybe he'll take 1 of each, and then he'll take an additional one of these guys here. Set it over here. That's what he can use to build. And now he's going to use his 6 movement. Now he can go ahead and simply move here. He'll take one of these tiles here and place it down. Oh, that's a water tile, so he can't go there. That's 1. He moved to his next space. That's 2. Over here is 3. And maybe he'll want to go over here, which is going to be 4. And you can keep building the map, and as you do, you'll just push it back like this. 5. And then finally, let's drop them over here, 6. Okay, that's another water space. You can't go through water spaces, only around them. And after that, he can simply choose to build. Maybe he wants to build a villager, which he would just spend one of these guys here. Or maybe he wants to build a fort. He would need to have 4 of these guys here. Or simply a farmhouse. He'll spend these 2 resources just like that. And he'll build one of his farmhouses, and he can build it on any of these places any place he wants next to his villagers, on the corners here. So if he builds it right here, that means whenever he gains allocations, he'll be able to choose these things, which one of these, what of these things he wants to take from. Okay, so now you notice how I grabbed all the different pieces here. Technically, what you're supposed to do is when you place here, you'll be able to take here, just like in Catan, or anything you have on this specific character, you can take from. So if he was right here, he could take any of this type of resource, or if he's over here, he can take any of this type of resource, which are these 2 over here. But after that, he'll end his turn, and the next player will go. They'll roll their movement, and they'll roll their gathering. Wow, really good. So in this case, you can move 4, but gather 6. And of course, you can only take from this specific tile here. So you should actually have to take 6 of these guys. But I was just going to show you guys what they can build there. I guess, for instance, we'll just take all 6 here, though, for fairness' sake. Right there. Poor green. Okay, now 4. So 1 and 2. Oh, perfect. That's a shrine right there. So this thing goes right here. Now, if they have the ability to make an offering on the shrine, they could do so, and that would let them put one of these guys here. And then that would be 1 closer to victory. So it would be 2 2, and 2, which he does not have, unfortunately. So he can't do that. But now everybody knows where that shrine is, and so they're going to be trying to build resources to gain that. So what this person can do if they want is they can go ahead and build, we'll do a farmhouse as well. So we'll take these 2 here. And build a farmhouse right here, I suppose. Or you can go ahead and chance if they want it right here, but we'll go ahead and put it right there. And then move on to the next player. And you'll be rolling and moving and so on and so forth as you build out the island of El Dorado. And some crazy things can happen. Sometimes you can get rivers like this. Look at that. Crazy stuff. But you're looking to find all the different shrines. There's another shrine right there. Another water. This is like blocking out. Look at that. This is blocking out the entire place. Crazy. All right, well, that's big enough as it is. Now, as if you want as well, you can build stuff like forts. And when you build forts, that's going to allow you to fight other units. And on the spaces here are going to represent strength. And for each strength you have is going to allocate how many die you're going to be rolling to fight other people. And you're going to roll all those die. And if you get the highest number, you're going to win. Now, for instance, you have to be in one of these, for the fort, for instance, your enemies have to be in like these spaces over here. But if you're fighting like this, you're going to get points based, you're going to get attack based on your characters, as well as every shrine you control. For every shrine, you get an additional power. As well as if you have villagers with you, so perhaps you build some villagers in there with you. This person would get to roll his base, plus he get to roll his +2 for his villagers. Maybe he's like, maybe a 3. Another person would get to roll his 1. And so it would be 2 versus 0, and the green would win, moving this player anywhere he wants on the board because this player doesn't control a shrine. And you're going to be going back and forth, building different things, trying to acquire new resources to get these offerings to place on here. Now, what I didn't talk about at all is this deck here. As you go through the island of El Dorado, you're going to find eventually a cave tile somewhere in here. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in there. But when you find the cave tile, you're going to flip it and put this here, and then you're going to start going through the cave. And as you go through the cave, you're going to find different things like increase your strength to 3, as well as just blank tile pieces that do absolutely nothing. And here, this is a +2 Explorer Strength, which is actually the shrine as well. If you can get this shrine, as well as all of the shrines on the board, you will be the winner of the game, and you will actually just win the game just by having all 4 of those unique different shrines. Of course, that is if your opponents will even let you. Another thing of note, too, is that every single character is going to have unique abilities. For instance, this one gains 1 food per turn, whereas this one over here, Pedro the Conquistador, gains an extra strength, so he gets 2 strength instead of just 1. Hector the Corporal is going to gain +1 to his maximum amount of villagers, so he's going to have 4 instead of his 3. And finally, you've got Stella the Adventurer, which is 1 speed per turn, so an extra movement per turn. All these characters have very unique things. Also, in the example where I was fighting, where I had these green little villagers, as well as this guy fighting one of the other guys, if you were to lose as the attacker or as the defender and you had these little extra dudes here, you will lose those as well. They will die, as well as you can lose forts and your other stuff, like your forts and your farmhouses here too. So you can lose a bunch of stuff when you're fighting, so you have to be very careful about fighting. Also, the water is always there to screw you up and mess you over, and you'll never be able to do anything about it. You have to try and get around it, you have to go through it, and sometimes there are going to be players that are going to try and block you so that you can't get through that little squeaky opening with all that nasty water there. But anyway, that's the basic idea of El Dorado, the island of El Dorado. Let me tell you what I think about it. So what to say about the island of El Dorado? Well, first of all, this game feels very Catan-esque, with a lot more movement as well as variable combat. The objective of the game is a lot simpler too. You're not going to spend as much time playing this game. You're simply trying to gather these shrines. You can go on for a long time or a short time depending on how ruthless your opponents are or how quick you are to find these things. There is a bit of luck as far as where you're going to be placing all these different tiles here and how they pop up. Sometimes you're going to get water that goes in a line like the river I showed you, just so happened to pop up like that. And it had happened for us in a game where my opponent was not able to get through because I had one little space blocked off and all the rest was water, so they had no time to get there, which gave me enough time to build up forces and get through the cave and get the last remaining shrine. Now, doing so, it involved me winning the game pretty easily, but that's not always the case, and a lot of the times it's just randomized as to how these tiles are going to be placed on the board. A very fun game, a very simple game, and I think anybody can pretty much learn this game pretty quickly. You roll the 2 die, you choose your resources, you then move, you build, you fight, you try and gain the shrines, and you move on. There are some bonuses as well as some character abilities which are nice. I like them, they work. I have nothing really to say bad about this game. It's very simple and straightforward, which I guess could be one of the negatives directed towards it, is it's very, very like, I've seen this all before. However, though, the game is fun and enjoyable, and it does have that unique twist to it where you have the different armies and stuff like that, where it's not too complex, but it gives you a little bit more and takes a little bit away as well from a game like Catan. Whereas you're not doing as much of the bartering and trading and stuff as much as you are actually doing a little bit more of the cutthroaty stuff. But it all works. It's very simple. I do recommend this for younger audiences, especially people who are just getting into these kind of movement exploration type games. I do enjoy this game, and I definitely think I'm going to pull it out for the next time I got my friends over that are a little bit younger, or even my friends' kids. Alright guys, thanks for watching the Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter board game review. If you like this video, like to see more, go and check out the rest of our videos here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment. It all helps. As well as checking out the Island of El Dorado, currently on Kickstarter. Go ahead and check out the description below. The last thing I forgot to mention, which I want to mention, is that they have some really nice components in the game, and you can tell there was a labor of love involved with putting all these pieces together and making a formulated, straightforward thing. Very simple, very nice, not too complex, but it does have a little bit of variety and a little bit of randomness thrown in there. So, a pretty good game, in my opinion. Alright guys, we'll also go ahead and check out unfilteredgamer.com. We got tons of blog posts, giveaways, Kickstarter lists, and more. If you're interested, just go ahead and scroll down the list, find that game that you like, and click on it, and there you go. As well as checking out our affiliated sites, everythingboardgames.com, The Giveaway Geek, and devitosgaming.com. Tons of blog posts and giveaway posts as well on their sites, even better than my own. Alright guys, well that's all I got for this time, and I look forward to seeing you next time.